What if love and courage were tested in the most fragile moment, between life and death, between pain and miracle? This is the emotional journey of Ly Tieu Nu, a woman who dreamed of becoming a mother, and Truong, the man who never left her side. From the gentle days of pregnancy to the terrifying hours in the delivery room, their story captures the true meaning of strength, devotion, and the miracle of new life. Stay with us till the end, and don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt stories that touch the soul. The afternoon sunlight spilled softly through the lace curtains, casting golden shadows across the room. Ly Tieu Nu sat by the window, her hands gently resting on her growing belly, as if trying to feel the rhythm of the tiny heartbeat within. Each soft flutter, each gentle kick made her lips curve into a tender smile, a smile that carried both wonder and love. Sometimes she would close her eyes and imagine the little one's face, the shape of the nose, the sparkle in the eyes, perhaps a mix of hers and Truong's features. The thought alone filled her heart with warmth so deep it almost hurt. Every day of her pregnancy felt like a quiet miracle. The mornings when she woke to the baby's movements, the afternoons when she and Truong talked softly about names, and the nights when she would whisper lullabies to the child she hadn't yet met, all became sacred rituals. Her world had slowed down, yet every moment felt more alive than ever. She no longer measured time by days or weeks, but by the sound of her baby's heartbeat echoing softly during hospital checkups. Truong had been her constant companion through it all. From preparing her favorite meals to massaging her swollen feet, he never let her feel alone. Sometimes when she grew anxious or scared, he would hold her close and whisper, "You're doing so well, my love. I'll always be here." Those simple words wrapped around her like a promise, unshakable, steady, full of quiet strength. Together, they would lie awake at night, talking about the future, the first steps, the first words, the laughter that would one day fill their home. As weeks passed, Ly Tieu Nu began to understand that motherhood wasn't just about carrying the child, it was about transformation. Her emotions deepened, her patience grew, and her love became boundless. Sometimes while tracing circles over her belly, she would speak softly, "Little one, you're already so loved. Your father and I can't wait to meet you." The wind outside seemed to carry her words, weaving them into the melody of the night. That evening, as the sky blushed in shades of rose and amber, Ly Tieu Nu felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The baby shifted gently inside her, as if responding to her thoughts. She smiled, knowing that life was already speaking to her in the quietest, most beautiful way, through the heartbeat of her unborn child, the promise of a love that would last forever. The day came sooner than anyone expected. The morning had begun peacefully, the scent of jasmine tea filling the kitchen, Truong humming softly as he arranged fresh flowers by the window. But before noon, a sharp pain gripped Ly Tieu Nu's abdomen, sending a chill of fear through her. The contractions came fast and fierce, stealing her breath away. Truong's calm facade faltered for the first time. His hands trembled slightly as he helped her into the car. Rain began to fall, fine and cold, drumming against the windshield like 1,000 tiny heartbeats, echoing her pain. At the hospital, everything became a blur of white coats, hurried footsteps, and flashing lights. The doctor's voice was calm but firm. The baby was in distress, and a C-section was needed immediately. Truong's heart dropped, but he nodded, his throat too tight to speak. They wheeled Ly Tieu Nu away, and for the first time, he couldn't follow. The sight of her disappearing behind those sterile doors left him hollow inside. He sank onto the bench outside the operating room, his hands clasped together so tightly his knuckles turned white. His mother sat beside him, whispering prayers under her breath, her eyes glistening. Together, they waited, seconds stretching into eternity. Behind the closed doors, Ly Tieu Nu fought through waves of pain and fear. Her heart pounded wildly, tears mingling with the sweat on her forehead. She could hear the distant hum of machines, the murmur of doctors, the steady rhythm of her own heartbeat, and somewhere deep inside, the fragile thump of another. She whispered a plea, not for herself, but for the little one inside her. Please be strong. When the doctor finally allowed Truong inside, he rushed to her side. She was pale, exhausted, but her eyes lit up the moment she saw him. He took her trembling hand in his, pressing it against his chest so she could feel his heartbeat. "I'm here," he whispered, voice breaking. "You're not alone." In that instant, the fear in her eyes softened, his presence became her anchor, his words the thread that held her together. As the operation went on, time lost all meaning. All that existed in that sterile, bright room was love, raw, fierce, and unyielding. Truong kept whispering encouragements, brushing stray hair from her face, praying silently between each word. And though she was fading fast, Ly Tieu Nu clung to his voice, drawing strength from it. Together, they waited for the sound that would change everything, the first cry of life breaking through the silence.
Then it happened, a sound so small, so fragile, yet powerful enough to bring the world to its knees. A baby's cry cut through the sterile air of the operating room, pure and bright like the first ray of dawn after a storm. For a moment, everything stopped. The machines, the whispers, even the pounding of Truong's heart. Ly Tieu Nu's eyes fluttered open, tears spilling freely as relief washed over her trembling body. She had done it. Their child was here. Their daughter was safe. Truong's vision blurred as he let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. The doctor smiled and lifted the tiny bundle, wrapped in soft white cloth, and said with gentle warmth, "It's a girl." The words echoed in his ears like music. He reached out, and the nurse carefully placed the baby in his arms. She was impossibly small, her fingers curling instinctively around his thumb, her skin warm and delicate as rose petals. Truong looked down at her, then at Ly Tieu Nu, and in that instant, love overflowed beyond words. Ly Tieu Nu watched them through tears, her heart swelling with a mix of exhaustion and wonder. The child's faint cries softened as Truong brought her closer, allowing the newborn to rest against her mother's chest. When the baby's skin met hers, an undescribable calm filled the room. The storm of fear and pain dissolved into stillness, replaced by the soft rhythm of two hearts beating in sync, mother and child, bound by something eternal. "You did it," Truong whispered, brushing a strand of damp hair from her forehead. "You both did." His voice trembled, but his eyes shone with pride and awe. He leaned down, pressing a gentle kiss on her brow, a silent vow that no matter what life brought, he would stand by her side. Outside the room, Truong's mother clasped her hands to her mouth when she heard the baby's first cry. Tears slipped down her cheeks as she whispered a prayer of gratitude. When the nurse stepped out to tell her that both mother and baby were safe, her knees nearly gave way from relief. She smiled through her tears, whispering, "Thank you, heaven, thank you." Later that night, as the hospital lights dimmed and the rain outside turned to a quiet drizzle, Truong sat by Ly Tieu Nu's bedside, cradling their sleeping daughter. The air smelled faintly of new life, of beginnings. Ly Tieu Nu reached for his hand, her voice weak but full of warmth. "She's perfect," she murmured. Truong smiled, eyes glistening, just like her mother. And in that moment, surrounded by the hush of love and the promise of tomorrow, they knew their lives had forever changed.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Lý Tiểu Nữ Review. Rất vui vì ngày hôm nay được gặp lại các bạn trong câu chuyện hôm nay. Trong câu chuyện hôm nay của chúng ta thì Lý Tiểu Nữ đã có những giây phút trong phòng mổ để sinh con gái đầu lòng rất là nghẹn thở. Nhưng mà cô luôn có Trường và mẹ có Trường ở bên cầu nguyện và động viên tinh thần cô. Mọi tình tiết hấp dẫn sẽ còn được kể ở các câu chuyện tiếp theo. Các bạn hãy bấm vào nút subscribe để đăng ký kênh, sẽ nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các tập phim sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh ha. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.